The election rigging conspiracy theory may very well have started in Colorado. The Trump campaign's evidence-free claim that the 2020 race was fixed by Denver-based Dominion voting systems. Joe Oltmann, the leader of a local conservative group, FEC United, claimed without evidence that he heard this conference call where Dominion was plotting about the election with Antifa. The Dominion employee he accused, Eric Coomer, went into hiding due to threats, and Coomer's come out suing former President Trump's campaign and suing the people who pushed the conspiracy theory. Politics guy Marshall Zellinger joined him in court today.
When is an election lie defamation? That's the decision a Denver District Court judge will have to make in a case that has 16 defendants, from FEC United founder Joel Oltmann to former Trump campaign attorney Sidney Powell. To win a defamation case, former Dominion employee Eric Coomer must prove what's called actual malice. First Amendment attorney Jessica Smith helps us with that explanation.
I think that's where they're going to go here, is that you knew that these things were false, or you acted with a high degree of awareness that they were false.
For instance, one of the reasons Trump's campaign is being sued is because Eric Trump, a campaign surrogate, retweeted an article from Gateway Pundit about Coomer rigging the election. By the way, Gateway Pundit is also being sued. The attorney for the Trump campaign argued Eric Trump simply retweeted someone else's content, that he did not add defamatory commentary.
And so it shouldn't necessarily be a complete defense to something that, oh, I was just sharing someone else's opinion. You still shared it. How far is your defamation liability going to go in the context of a retweet? That seems to be kind of a novel question, given that Twitter is relatively new. The First Amendment applies to Twitter. The First Amendment applies to Facebook.
Many of the arguments in court seem to fall back to Colorado's Oltmann and what he claimed in the first place about an election rigging Antifa phone call that wasn't recorded and no one else has heard. The lawyers for the other defendants argued in court today that they simply shared Oltmann's story. They didn't create it, Kyle, or add their own commentary.
So the nation is watching and listening to President Trump and his campaign spin this tale without evidence that Dominion rigged the election. Meanwhile, there's this guy who's kind of locally famous in Colorado circles, conservative circles, Joe Oltmann, making this claim. It wasn't until recently that kind of the two things got put together. Like, did the president really first hear this from some rando in Colorado?
Well, I will say, we didn't get a chance to record in court, but that is a part of what the Trump for campaign defense was today, that all we did was share an article from something called the Gateway Pundit that shared Oltmann's story. So we're just sharing what we heard from somewhere else, and then you get Rudy Giuliani involved and Sidney Powell involved, and then they go to news conferences and then they say the same stuff, and they are just sharing someone else's story is what they're claiming to get this defamation case thrown out, at least for them. There are 16 defendants, and each of them could get thrown out, and maybe someone will be left behind to have to go further in court. There's another day of this tomorrow.
Have to answer where the big lie originated. It's wild. It could be our backyard. Marshall, thank you.